Well, hello there. This is Charles the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. Now, I'm really pleased to show you this game, another game of the von Hennig Gambit against the Caro-Kann, really effective. Now, usually in my past videos when I play the von Hennig Gambit, I usually can't help myself but to play straight down the oh no my queen trap line. Now in this game we get to the critical position, but I play the grown-up line. Oh, let's go take a look. So I've got the white pieces, of course, and the Caro-Kann defense, of course, is e4, and the opponent plays c6. A very, very good response to 1e4. Take the full center with d4, as expected, d5, knight to c3, captures, and of course the main line would be to capture with the knight. And we actually just had another game against the Caro-Kann in the last quick wins, the last video. And one of the things about the Caro-Kann defense is that it can be potentially slow. And so one of the attacking themes, one of the motifs, rather than any particular line per se, is that because black is taking a relatively slow defensive approach, it can be liable to an immediate attack on their weak f7 pawn, and that's what the Alien Gambit tries to exploit by getting the knight here and then sacrificing itself. Now here, instead, we don't take back and we pressure that f7 pawn with another piece, with bishop to c4. This is, of course, the von Hennig Gambit. We give up that pawn, immediately target, immediately targeting. Naturally, black will develop their knight to defend. That's actually their best move. We challenge that pawn immediately. Doesn't look like they can move forward. And in this position, a very common move for black, and in fact, again, one of their best moves, is to consolidate their one material advantage by capturing down the chain. And here we take back, and we've traded away one pawn, clean loss, but we've got all this development and potentially staring at that weak f7 pawn. So that is the tactical motif here. The best move here now for black is to develop their bishop either to that square. Almost just as good and maybe easier to play is b5, immediately challenging my bishop, which of course is looking at their weak f pawn. However, in the beginner intermediate level, for opponents not familiar with this line, it's very, very tempting to put the bishop onto g4 because it develops a piece, seems to win tempo potentially by pinning the knight against the queen, but it's a blunder. And here is where I would typically play the oh no my queen trap, hanging the queen, because if they get greedy and take, immediate. That's an immediate mate. Very, very lovely pattern. And again, we saw this pattern in the Alien Gambit game, which was the last video. However, the problem here is that as you sort of move forward, it's very likely that black will see, oh, hold on, there's something wrong here, and bring their bishop back. Now, to be perfectly frank, this position is still perfectly good for white. You can see white is definitely still ahead. So traditionally, I still played this move anyway because of that chance. And here after captures, and we now get short castles, it's still potentially pretty good for us. However, I will say that in this position, it's not the simplest position to play for white. So even though we're still ahead on development, black can certainly try to consolidate and make, and get back into the game. And it's a bit awkward for white to play this position. So in this game, I decided not to do the oh no my queen, and I decided to play the solid grown-up line. And those of you might know what this is. It's immediately sacrificing the bishop on f7, again focusing on that f7 square. And this is a classic unpinning the knight tactic. So here we go, capture, brilliant move, king captures, knight now leaps forward, absolute fork, king pretty much can go either, but this is actually best, and captures. Now with a chain attack on their knight, and typically captures, and here at the beginning of move 10, we're doing really, really well. We've gained back our material, we've got some excellent development, ready to short castle almost immediately, getting the king out of danger. We still sort of have eye on that pawn on d4. None of black's pieces are developed, and more than that, there's no particular easy way for the pieces to develop either. This is a great position for white to now basically continue on with the middle game and win. We've got material equality, but Stockfish at higher depth calls this, evaluates this as +3 for white. And the reason this is just better than the other line, even though evaluation-wise is not very different, is that from this position onwards, the ongoing moves for white are natural, they're easy to find, and we often just slip very easily into a winning endgame. Let's see what it looks like. So here, it's really not very clear what black should do. So they decide to push e6 after a bit of thinking. That is the wrong move. I can see what they were trying to do. You know, give the allow the dark square bishop to develop and then potentially short castle. They should have developed their knight, even though it's a little bit awkward, to d7 instead. Obviously, that is almost an immediate attack. However, king safety first, short castles. My rook controls the fully open f-file. Really, really powerful. Yep, they developed their bishop. So what? Queen captures with a check, and here they decide to trade queens. Now, not a bad idea ostensibly, because we have almost got material equality, and maybe they're thinking, get rid of the queens, get rid of the attack. I can understand where they're coming from. However, here at high depth, yep, there's a forced checkmate in 12 moves. So already there is a mating net. Now here I thought about, you know, queen to c8 with check, and I think that's actually the continuation for the mating line. But here I thought, I've got so much developmental advantage. I don't need to do that. Let's trade queens, stop their development. So captures, and now I get it to develop. Here they try, yeah, again, sort of makes sense, you know, awkward move is their best move. They, you know, put their rook here, now maybe thinking of pinning my bishop, but it's not really pinned because the rooks look at each other. In fact, the rook is developed twice over. So instead, I get to activate my other rook. So rook a e1, now pinning their bishop to the king. Their next best move, they have to actually move the king, so to unpin the bishop. They didn't see that. They developed very, very sensible, but now place pressure on the pin piece. Basically, it's almost effectively forcing a straight up win. So they try to trade off, but you know, I don't have to move this way. I can capture with the king, captures, still two attackers, it's pinned, they can't move. Yep, that's, you know, that's inaccurate because they actually now blunder their knight, but it's so bad, you know, it's probably only a mistake. You could call it a blunder because captures, it's basically an absolute fork. Bishop is defended, king moves, take the knight. Look, 3 pieces versus 1 into an endgame. As I said, transformation to endgame really easy for white, much more difficult for black to find their moves. And a good sport they play on. Give a check, you know, let's try to simplify trade pieces if they want to, check, and here I move my king to e2, and basically this this poor rook, really, there's nowhere for it to go along that entire file. And yeah, basically I think black decided to just throw in the towel. Good game, GG. The big takeaway from this game is to try the Von Hennig Gambit against the Caro-Kann Defense. And if you get to the critical position, you can play either the oh no my queen line or this grown-up sensible line. Either way, you're going to get a fun, a very enjoyable game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.